Okay, so picture this. You've done everything right. You've worked your tail off, you've paid every single bill on time, and you've built up this financial record that you are seriously proud of. And then bam, one day it all just comes crashing down, all because of a good deed you didn't even know about. Well, for one woman, this absolute nightmare became her reality.
I mean, can you imagine? This is the exact spot she found herself in. After years of intense discipline, we're talking wiping out $80,000 in student loans and paying off a car in just 6 months, she was just crushed to see her score, which was once solidly in the 700s, suddenly take a nosedive. And the craziest part? She had no clue why.
And yeah, that's the big mystery we're going to unpack today. How does that even happen? What hidden tripwire could possibly undo years of hard work in a single moment, especially when you haven't made a single mistake yourself? Well, it turns out the answer is hiding in a really common practice that can be both an amazing tool and a super dangerous trap. And the culprit has a name: the authorized user trap. Now, it sounds pretty harmless, right? And it usually starts with someone trying to do you a favor. In our story, it was her dad. All he wanted to do was give her access to an airport lounge. But that little act of kindness, it had a huge, unexpected side effect. So here's how it went down. To get her that lounge access, her dad just added her to his credit card as an authorized user. The thing is, he never told her, and she never even saw or used the card. But that's where the problem began, because his financial habits, whether they were good or bad, were now directly tied to her credit report. So what in the world is an authorized user? It's actually pretty simple. You get a credit card with your name on it, but it's linked to someone else's account. You can use it to buy things, but the main account holder is the only one who's legally on the hook to pay the bill. It's often how parents try to help their kids build credit, but as we're seeing, it definitely has a dark side.
You really have to think of being an authorized user as a double-edged sword. I mean, on one hand, if the main account holder has a perfect, super long payment history, you can basically inherit all that goodness and get a massive boost to your own credit score. But the reverse is also true. If they miss payments or carry high balances, you get all that damage too. And that is exactly what happened here. This number is just staggering. Turns out, her father had run up a pretty big balance on that card. And then, at the same time, the bank actually lowered his credit limit. So what happened? The card was suddenly maxed out at 95% of its available credit. And because she was an authorized user, the credit bureaus looked at it and thought she was the one using 95% of her credit. That is a gigantic red flag. So, to really understand why that 95% number was so devastating, we kind of need to pop the hood and see how credit scores are actually put together. It's not some kind of magic. It's really just a formula based on 5 key things. So this is basically the recipe for a FICO score, which something like 90% of top lenders use. Payment history, that's the biggest slice of the pie at 35%. It's pretty much just, do you pay your bills on time? But look at that second biggest piece, amounts owed. That's where our problem is. At 30%, this factor's all about your credit utilization, that 95% number we just talked about. Let's just break it down real quick. Payment history is easy. Pay on time. Length of history is all about rewarding you for having older accounts. Credit mix just wants to see you have different kinds of credit, and new credit is watching to see if you're applying for too much stuff at once. But amounts owed, that's our smoking gun. The golden rule here is to try and keep your credit usage below 30%. That 95% from her dad's card just sent this whole category into a tailspin, and it dragged her score right down with it. Okay, so now that we know how these scores actually work, let's just blow up some of the biggest myths out there, the ones that cause people to make some really big mistakes. Getting this stuff wrong can cost you, so let's separate the facts from the fiction. All right, first step, the classic one you've probably heard a million times. You have to keep a balance on your card from month to month to build good credit. True or false? Oh, absolutely not. That is a terrible, expensive myth. All carrying a balance does is cost you money and interest. The best thing you can do is simple. Use your card, wait for the bill to come, and then pay the entire thing off before it's due. You build amazing credit, and you pay zero interest. It's literally a win-win. Okay, next myth. You've got this old credit card you literally never use. The smart thing to do is just close it and clean up your finances, right? I mean, it seems logical. Nope. It's another myth. Remember those 5 factors we just looked at? Closing an old card can actually hurt 2 of them.
First, it brings down the average age of all your accounts, which hurts your length of credit history. And second, it takes away some of your available credit, which can instantly make your utilization ratio jump up. So, unless that card has some crazy annual fee, you're almost always better off just to leave it open.
This one gives so many people anxiety. People are actually afraid to look at their own score because they've heard that every time you check it, it drops. Is that really true? Total myth. When you check your own score, say through your bank's app or a free service, it's called a soft inquiry. You can do it 100 times a day and it will not affect your score one bit. A hard inquiry only happens when you officially apply for new credit, like a car loan or a new card. So please check your score. It's the best way to know what's going on with your financial health. All right, we've seen the trap, we get the rules, and we've busted the myths. Now for the most important part. How do you build a great score safely without having to piggyback on someone else's financial habits? But first, let's see how our hero's story ends. And here is the happy ending. As soon as she figured out what was going on, she disputed the account with the credit bureaus, basically telling them, hey, this isn't my debt. And get this, TransUnion removed it in just one day. And her score didn't just bounce back, it shot up to 772, even higher than before. So it just goes to show you, these problems are fixable. And this is the million-dollar question, right? Especially if you're just starting out. You don't have a credit history, so how do you get one? The authorized user thing is obviously risky, but thankfully there's a much, much safer way. Let me introduce you to the secured credit card. Think of it like a credit card with training wheels. You give the bank a small deposit that you'll get back, let's say $200. That $200 then becomes your credit limit. You just use it like a regular card and make your payments on time every month, and the bank reports all that great behavior to the credit bureaus. After a few months of showing you're responsible, they'll usually upgrade you to a regular, unsecured card and give you your deposit back. And this isn't just some theory. This really, really works. Here's what someone who used this exact strategy said. They started with a tiny $200 limit, managed it well, and got upgraded to a $1,500 unsecured card in just 7 months. It's a really powerful, super low-risk way to take control of your own credit story. So here's the bottom line. Your credit score is one of the most important numbers in your financial life, but it doesn't have to be a big, scary mystery. When you understand the rules and use the right tools, you can build it, protect it, and control it all by yourself. From just checking your credit report for accounts you don't recognize to maybe looking into a secured card, the power is completely in your hands. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. What's the first step you're going to take, maybe even this week, to really own that number and build the financial future that you deserve?